Hi.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back.
Welcome back to Waldorf. You got your girls, Nina and Caroline here.
Yep, we are really excited to be here today, per usual.
Per usual. I don't know what day of the week it is, but just feeling a little midweek action. Is it Tuesday? Wednesday?
It's Tuesday night. Tuesday night.
How was your weekend or since the last time we chatted? What's going
Really,
on?
really good. Very chill weekend. I know that the last time we were talking, we were talking a lot on like routines and things like that. And I think one
Right.
of the things you asked me is, like, what are you most excited for? And I was like, to lock in the gym
Oh,
do
yeah.
do a lot of work. And I can successfully say that it's been a week and I have done both those things. And I feel
Good.
really
Good for you.
good.
I just want to comment on anyone that was listening to the last episode and heard Nina's routine. She inspired me. I'm not like the 10 step yet, but I have done a little bit better and I've done a little bit more gua sha, a little bit more lemon water and juice. I'm working on it. So that
Yeah.
really helped that conversation helped me. And yeah, I'm feeling good from it. I think just those little things are little wins and then they carry over into how you proceed with your work later in the day. So I'm glad we had that talk. It's been helping me. I had I don't know, I'm all over the place from the last 2 weeks ever since I got back in town, but, like, my brain is not doing time well. But something I'm just so glad I did is and I wanted to tell you about, is I'm obsessed with horses.
Don't even get me started on horses. I'll cry.
I know. I know we've
I,
talked about this briefly, and I just
yeah.
know you like horses and you got engaged on a horse, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
So special.
I know.
And I'm intimidated, though, to start riding in LA. My mom actually, like, had me ride in high school when I was a senior because I was depressed and she, like, didn't know what to do with me when Connor moved, and she was like, "We need to get you on a horse," and I was like, "Okay." So she took me out to the stables in Sandy Springs, rode, got lessons for a few months, and it was amazing, and I was actually pretty good. And it helped. It was like a really good confidence booster, got me out of my head, and I'll never forget that. And, maybe I've gone on like a trail ride or something a few times since then, but it's been a long time. And just with all my anxiety and issues I had, I'm like, why aren't I doing that? And I'm also like in Los Angeles. Like there's definitely stables around here. California is a big like I didn't know that before I moved out here, but like there's like Western energy in a lot of parts of California.
There's some cowboys out there.
There's a lot of cowboys. So, long story short, I'm intimidated of, like, trying to start it's an expensive habit too, but, like, where do I even begin looking for a stable I'm a novice. It's not like just because I rode for a few months in high school, like, I would know how to go up and just walk into someone's established area, tack up a horse, and, like, hop on. I need to, like, do lessons again. So, long story short, I kinda started researching and I was like, "Why don't I start volunteering somewhere, get comfortable with horses again?"
You are creeping me out right now.
Why?
You are creeping me out
Why?
because I literally have been thinking about doing that for the last 2 months, like to the point where I will wake
Nina,
up. No, I'm not kidding. You're
I
creeping
believe
me
you, but
out.
I'm saying, like, that's because we have share brain cells.
That is so creepy, Caroline.
No, Michelle said the same thing, that she was thinking about horse stuff too.
Yeah, I was talking to her about her, and I literally almost
Yeah.
started crying. Like, if I watch
Yeah.
two horse videos in a row, I'll
Yeah.
start crying because I miss it so much. I
I
grew up
think
on the like little backstory. I grew up riding horses in Brazil with my family,
yeah,
and
you told me that when you were here.
not like competing or anything. Like literally like riding and like
All
the rolling,
natural.
yeah, the green rolling hills and the mountains in Rio, and just like my happiest place on earth. And I literally have been looking into volunteering at horse stables around here because there's some in like North Georgia. Like even if I'm cleaning horse poo
That's what
poo.
I did. Okay, we have
Oh
to talk
my
about this for a
God.
second. I know that's not our main topic for today, but we're only 4 minutes in. Let's take a minute for this because Nina, you
That
need to do
is,
it.
oh my God.
I signed up because I want to hear. I forgot when you came to my house last month, we sat on the sofa, we were looking at footage from Brazil and then also like the Lenny Kravitz video of him riding
Yes.
horses on his property. Okay. All right. We need to take this seriously really quick.
No,
So
I'm
I
like locked
signed
in.
up for a volunteering program. There's a company or a place out here in LA called Ride On, and it's like so special. They basically, I know this is like a thing. I knew therapeutic riding was like a thing for kids with disabilities, physical, cognitive, even veterans, people with
Uh-huh.
PTSD, all this stuff. Like I've always known that was a thing. I've never been around it or like heard that much about it or like the science behind it, but I found a program that looks like very legit in doing it, and it said like, "We love our volunteers, like sign up, whatever." So I signed up in August and made an application, went through all the steps and set a date to go do my orientation. And I got there and I just want to talk about the experience because I think anyone that's like struggling right now with the state of the world and stuff and feeling helpless and you're on the internet, like go out and just do one thing for someone else. Like it could be raking your neighbor's leaves. It doesn't need to be something as intense as this, but like it really does help you feel like more control in like bringing kindness and like positivity. And so like I have two motives here. One of mine is to go out and ride horses for myself, but the other one is to like do a little bit of this work, thinking maybe that'll help me with my own anxieties and control over what I can't control. So anyway, I just want to also say though that like volunteer work can be intimidating. Like sometimes when you go into these places and things, like there's a culture and there's a like people there already have been doing what they've been doing for a long time and they don't really have time to stop and like explain to you like how to help. You have to just take initiative. So I drove out there on a Thursday last week. I was really nervous and like the tour of the stables, everything went well, but they were like, you don't have to stay today. You can come back another day or you can stay and watch today's session and hang out. And I was like, I could easily leave right now. The session doesn't start for 30 minutes, but I'm going to stay. I forced myself to stay. And it just like goes to show like saying yes to things and pushing yourself because the experience I had scooping horse shit, Nina, like it literally changed my life.
No, I'm like, I could so jealous of you right now. This is the
I
most
know.
jealous of you I've
I'm
ever
telling you
been
it
in my
in
life.
I know I'm telling you details because like I need you to go do this too. Like it is
No, I am.
so
I already
therapeutic. I
know.
clean
Oh
the
my God.
out of these stalls. I need to stop cussing. I cleaned these stalls and I felt uncomfortable and I was like, everyone here knows each other. And like, but then you look up and you see these children that have such bigger problems than us,
Oh
like
God, I'm
every
gonna
day.
cry.
I know, I'm telling you, it's deep. I didn't know we were going to do this, but I just had to give you this update and I need you to go be
Oh, I'm
around a
going.
horse. But
Oh, I'm
it
going. I'm
was,
fine place this weekend. I'm just gonna
it's,
show up and just
yes,
with the shovel. I'm just gonna start working.
yep. That's what I did. I'm not kidding. I just showed up and I started working. I just wanted to share that bit and say if you've ever thought about volunteering anywhere, you should do it. If you ever thought about just do it and bring a friend with you. If I had a friend here, I should do that too, but like it's also good for me to go out and do stuff by myself and so yeah, that was long-winded and really not what we were going to talk about today, but I just wanted to say it because it really moved me and like there's been a lot of heavy stuff that Nina and I have been talking about offline and I think that like sometimes instead of talking about that stuff on here, I want to talk about the things that help pull us out of those dark moments and things. And so I'm challenging you, you better be going to scoop some
Oh, I absolutely
stuff.
will be. But it does remind me of like I a couple weeks ago when I was like I did yard work and you were like, no, that's like really cathartic. And I was
Yeah,
like, yeah, it was really cathartic. Like just for
right?
what? And it was
Yeah.
just like a big reset weekend, whatever. But
Yeah.
same vibes, but way different. I am absolutely going to go find. I already know the horse stable I want to go to. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
I
Yeah.
know. And then hopefully I can get riding soon. But for right now, this is a great step. And like, and then it goes to show with the charity stuff, like, also, like, you do have to have some like confidence here. There were some people there that weren't really interested in like showing me the ropes and welcoming me in because they probably get a lot of new volunteers that like, there's probably a lot of stuff that happens there. And I have a lot of empathy for that. But there was a few people that like looked me in the eyes and they were like, come over here. I'll show you how to do this. And it was so amazing. And like, that's the community stuff we always talk about on here, and, like, I appreciated it so much, and, like, one girl really went out of her way, and she was like, "Have you ever walked a horse? Do you want me to show you how to tack?" And then these are, like, you eventually work up to bridling, and, like, if she didn't take that initiative, I probably would've walked away from the day feeling a lot different, but, like, she
Yeah.
took me over the edge of feeling confident to come back again. And ultimately, it's for the kids, it's not for us, but, like, you have to be a leader like, if you go volunteer, then maybe one day you're gonna be the person that's teaching the new person, and it can be very powerful for, like, confidence and how you walk through the world.
Amen. Oh my gosh. I'm so inspired. I am.
I wasn't trying to be, like, too deep here, but I
No,
just
I'm
had
calling.
to.
I'm calling places tomorrow. It's on my calendar. I wrote
I
it down
love
while we were
it, I love
talking.
it. Maybe you should take Mish with you.
Oh, she's going to wake up early. And if they don't answer, I'm just going to show up. That's what I'm going
You
to do.
no,
Saturday
no, you just
morning,
show up. Also,
I'm just
people
going to
are
show up.
busy, especially people that are devoted to, like, nonprofits and stuff, like, you have to push yourself in there because they're very much, like, doing a lot of things I respected so much.
Okay.
So,
I'm in.
yeah.
Hell
All
yeah.
right. Thanks, guys, for going on that journey with us. Today we discussed that we wanted to talk about branding and all the things that go into, yeah, building a brand, the aesthetics of branding, and then also like the heart behind branding and the purpose and all of that. So
Yeah, I mean, and I think it's a kind of like a trigger word. I don't know if it would be a trigger word. If you're
everything we
starting
bring up's triggering. Authenticity, branding, it's all like, ooh, I
I
don't.
know. I mean, is that by design? But like if you're
Yeah.
starting a business, that's a trigger word because and there's so many like agencies out there that like, "Oh, we'll do the branding for you." Da da da. We don't have that access right now. Like maybe like I know you got with someone for doing like logo and things like that and like very like foundational stuff.
Mhm. Mhm.
But like the breathing life into it, like we don't have someone that's like on our staff being like, we're gonna do that. Like that's coming directly from us.
Yeah.
So yeah, welcome to our branding workshop. You're gonna just watch us try to figure this out essentially because
Yeah.
we're no experts in this and we're just kind of growing and doing the thing as we can.
Yep. We're going to try to kind of tackle this together today live because I think the importance behind it is like depending on what your goals are with within business, I think we're seeing it's more and more and more and more important to have a brand because there's so many options. Now,
Yeah.
like back in the day, there was like 4 furniture brands. And
Right.
then like maybe when my mom came in, there was 10 or
Mhm.
15. And like now it's 100. And so unless you stand out, I think first visually, honestly, I think it's a really important piece. Maybe I
Yeah.
don't know the order, but I felt like a pressure to up my game a few years in with my visuals of like having a logo or like a color palette or something like compel the story so then to suck people in to then hear more about what I'm trying to
Well,
say.
I think yes. I think from the customer's perspective, the visual
Mhm.
is the first thing you see. It's
Yeah.
like when you like see an attractive person. Like you're not gonna ask someone out on a date if you perceive them as ugly, right? They
Yeah,
gotta be
you're not
attractive
your
first and
yeah.
then you want to know more. So I think like from a customer's perspective, it's like the visual first. You have like this like kind of visual story that kind of like sets the tone, the mood, the vibe, and everything. And then you look at it more and then you see the story. But I think from our perspective, when you're developing, you want to have kind of the purpose, the story, the vibe first, and then the visual comes from that.
Yep. Yep.
Do you vibe with that? Okay, wait, let me read out the definition of what a brand is. And I feel like that's going to kind of help us like point our trajectory
Okay.
towards this.
And then
So,
and then I think we yeah, okay, go ahead.
okay, so um this is like a shorter version of the definition I found because I didn't want to read a whole paragraph. But a brand is a customer's perception and feeling about a product or service encompassing the reputation, values, and overall impression. And a brand should be the thing that evokes the emotion from people. And it's also where people find the relatability between themselves and your thing.
Mm,
So
okay.
it's almost like the brand is
An extension
yeah, I
of
feel like it
us and them
mhm.
almost, like, there's a connecting point between the aspects of myself that I'm putting into a very specific box,
Mhm.
which would be for us,
A
like
very pretty
yeah,
packaged
pretty
box.
package. I have obviously way more things going on inside my brain than just this, but this is, like, something I wanna put out in the world, and then I'm hoping when someone sees it and perceives it, it gives them they see a piece of themselves in it.
Yeah, and
I
I
kinda
think
like that as a
yeah.
working definition that we could build off of.
Well, and it's almost because like, something else I read in a book a couple of years back, and I'll find the book. I'll put the book right here. It's gonna be right here in my hand when we do this, and I'll, maybe put it in the bio description, but it's about, like, brand storytelling.
Mhm.
And I wanna reread it now, that way, like, I read it back when I didn't have any brand or company or anything, so I don't even know what I was troubleshooting or workshopping on, but
You should definitely reread it. I'm sure it would, like, spark so much stuff.
oh, yeah. But something that always stuck with me is, because I love storybooks and storytelling, I think the biggest part about branding is telling the story, but the biggest mistake that people make is making their brand the hero in the story and,
Mm.
like, putting their brand at, like, the tipping point of, like, this is the Hercules of the story, right? Where your brand should be the guide in the story, the fairy godmother per se, and your customer is the hero. Your client is the hero. So it's like
Mm,
you center it the story around um someone coming in, they have a backstory, they have problems they're facing, and they have a goal in mind. And then, the guide comes in and it's like, you have these problems? Well, here's a solution to these problems. And if you can just come with me down this journey, and then it can be like a
I
literal
love
like
that.
purchase, right? And then always in a brand story as well. And this just always, I read so many like fantasy books and just like fiction books. So like I vibe with this kind of I resonate with this kind of definition, but there's also always a villain in this story. It's the guide
Mm.
being like, we're going, like, that is what you don't want to be. And then this is how I can get you to be what you want to be.
Yeah,
Whether that's
showing
like,
showing them what they want and showing them what they don't want. A little bit at
correct.
the same time, because you don't wanna, like, obviously put others down to get yourself up, but if you're strong enough, you naturally will outshine the enemy.
Yeah. And that's why, like, this part of the branding, like, there's the purpose side, and that's kind of like that nuance side, and then
Yeah.
like the visual side. We are really good at the visual side. I will say
Yes.
that. Like, we can understand pretty things and good colors and
And even for us who are good at that, it's hard. Like, I just wanna
yeah,
say out there, not to intimidate anyone on starting, but to validate you if you're on some sort of path to build
we're
a
good because 'cause we've done
brand.
it a couple times with a lot of different
Yeah,
brands.
and we've seen a
That's
lot of
why.
people
That's
do
why.
it. Like, not only have we started to do it the last few years for ourselves and like brands we're investing in, Nina and I have worked for companies, and within Bradley, our company, our day job, we see multiple brands be doing this. So we really do have a lot of experience in seeing that visual side, and it's hard because sometimes if you're a one man show, like with a lot of businesses that we're seeing are very small teams, you're doing so much for the business that type of stuff falls to the wayside, I think, because it's not like top priority of the day, which is sales and accounting and reaching out and marketing. Like your branding, like really should be, I think, pushed to be a more important first step. But because it takes a lot of mental taxing and creativity, I think the day job version of like your business or your actual day job and you're hustling this stuff at night, it can be pushed to the back burner,
Yeah.
right? Like, so I just
No,
want to
I
validate anyone that's like struggling on the logo and all the things that we may make it seem like it's easy. It can be a hard part of it.
I would say it's easier than all, like, the nuanced and purpose stuff.
Mhm.
I don't know. I feel like I overthink these things for
Yeah.
sure.
Also,
Um,
maybe that's just us because of the industry we're in. Like, you could take this thing
correct.
whereas someone's purpose might be easier for them because they're curing cancer.
And God
And
bless.
our purpose is, like, I think still a strong purpose, and it's a beautiful industry, but it's not the same as
Well,
other
we
things.
we have to sell the purpose. Whereas
Yeah,
like
yeah,
we're not bottom tier in Maslow's good old hierarchy of needs.
exactly.
We're a little bit up.
We're a luxury need, a desire. I
But
don't
it's like
know.
I would say so, but I also think that especially in this day and age, you guys are gonna hear my
Right, it
dogs like walking in the yeah, walking in the
cooking is
background.
so cute.
We gotta clip the nails, baby.
Mhm.
So oh no, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. He knows that word. He's looking at me.
I know I can't say BATH, but
Oh
even the
man.
spelling of it is triggering over here.
I know.
Okay, the smart dogs.
Oh man, too smart for their own good.
Mhm.
Um, shoot, what was I saying? Dang
Sorry,
it.
sorry. No,
No, it's not your fault.
it's the needs, like, I
Oh, no,
this is
it
good though, what we're saying.
this is okay. Okay, I'm back. So it's like it is a luxury item. You don't need to have beautiful things in your home for it to be a home. Like you got a roof over your head, you got some electricity, you have a bed. Like there are basic things. However, no one ever, like, once you are kind of above those basic needs, bringing your personality into your space is so imperative for your mental health. Like, we're not robots. We're not meant to live in just like a beige box
Yeah,
where there's no personality or no art or, like that is those like soul need things.
I think you just said your purpose. That
Yeah,
is
but,
what it is, like,
but
that's a
like,
great point.
right?
It's yeah, like you're putting it into perspective first by saying, yeah, like everyone has to achieve the basic needs in their life, but then what comes next, whether it be fashion or home or traveling and food and experiences. Once you get into this next layer, which we're in that next layer beyond maybe a deeper purpose of service work, whatever. We're talking about kind of this personality and building a story and like having all these things in your life that really can drive a lot of fun and a lot of like amazing qualities of how you then go and live your life. And that's what we're trying to do. I think it's a cool way to look at it. Like you saying that we've talked about this before, but the things that you bring into your home or you spend most people spend the majority of their time, especially if you work from home or all these things, like, it is such an important part of how you show
It
up
affects
and
you.
it affects you and who you wanna have over to your house, like, until I've had this space where I've really put more of that energy, I wanna have people over, and then that snowballs into more friendships and community and hosting and things I never thought I was that interested in. So it can really ripple.
Right. And I think it's important for us to like state that because it's like I it's like the monkey on the shoulder. It's like you literally just sell pretty things. And
I
I'm like
know, I think we
and
even
it's
have
like
resistance in talking about this because we're like,
well, and I have resistance too, and it like but I know I need to like deal with this. And I also know that I love pretty things and I spend money on pretty things. So
a
like
lot of people do.
obviously other people do too. But it's like I'm also as much as I can be informed of like, the state of the world and how like sometimes certain things just aren't important and certain
Mhm.
things are. So, I get that. But for this case, yeah, I think that because it's like though but that, like, mission, that purpose applies to both of our brands. I would say it applies to, like,
Yeah.
our industry, it applies to, any kind of, like, luxury industry. So I wouldn't
Mhm.
say it's, like, my brand purpose because it doesn't feel personable to the brand enough, if that makes sense? But I would
Yeah.
say it's in the right direction. I don't know.
No, I think that makes sense. I think it is like for anyone listening that is jumping in or isn't following like every episode, Nina and I have like two different perspectives on what we do, but at the same time, like a lot of what we're saying applies to both of us. So I hope it's not like too confusing because it is like we have the same product line. We have a lot of shared similar goals of where we want to take the brand and like how we kind of proceed through it. So just saying that as a little disclaimer of like sometimes we're like, yes, yes, because it applies to both of us. But you kind of have to insert your own version of what we're talking about if you want to workshop with us. So if maybe I had been dealing with something a little different, I could like bring in a different perspective, but we're going to kind of probably agree on a lot just because we have a shared similar business plan and goals. So I just wanted to say
Yeah.
that.
And, like, I would say, I mean, to piggyback off of that, like, the things that make us different is, um, the aesthetic, like,
Mhm.
the vibe, like, I don't know, maybe we should talk a little bit about because, like, I can
Yeah.
talk about, like, how we are similar all day and then how, like, other brands in our industry are similar, but, like, when it comes to, like
Yeah, let's talk about the differences.
mhm, like, the purpose, I don't know. Do you have a tagline for Bluey? Do you have I feel like you do.
Yeah, I used to have one on like some of my cards. I'm trying to remember what it is. Um it was something about like dang it. I'm not remembering what it was, but I should dig it up and use more of it. It was like about bold it was something about being bold, bold patterns and
Oh,
something
yeah, I
like
remember
that.
that.
And
Yeah.
I think that goes to your point about let's dissect it a little bit. Like my patterns do have this boldness since I kind of went a little bit backwards in starting a business of like having this art out first and then I went and branded next,
Yeah.
which is not always recommended, but that's how it went for me.
It goes
Or
how it goes.
there's no right answer, there's no right way. I my patterns are bold, like, in the wallpaper world, there's a lot of subtle things out there that could maybe be used more often, but that didn't feel like me and my soul and the things that I have very specific art style, a very specific stroke and color palettes that I like, and all of it was bold. And so my logo and, like, the things I've been kind of working backwards for have that intensity to them in a very specific thing. And so, yeah, I think that I could keep leaning into that more and, like, finding the different ways in which I wanna provoke, like, a feeling through.
Well, from looking at your brand, like, the boldness of it, like,
Mhm.
I noticed that the chunky letters and the LV,
Yeah.
there's, like there is a and it kind of, like, is, like, your personality, but there's, like, a quiet confidence about it. Like, yes, it's
Mhm.
bold, but it's, like, serene colors and, like, the colors kind of give it, like, a very, like, easy appeal, like, approachable, but then the
Yes.
boldness is, like, this confidence of, like, "Oh, we're here, we're proud,
I
we're
love
Louis
that.
Vega."
Okay, you're helping me put it into words. So it's like there's a boldness to it, but then I really s always from the beginning, not every single one, but I've also always had a muted tone on tone thing going.
Mhm.
So to carry that through to, like, what I want the end user to feel is bold, but calm and
Like,
elevated
confident.
and
Yeah,
confident. Like, there's, like, this combination of, like,
quiet
the
confidence.
quiet confidence.
It literally is quiet confidence.
There we go.
We've talked about this.
I know, but I don't know why that wasn't coming to the forefront.
No, we weren't talking about branding. I was just talking
Oh.
about you. I
Oh,
was
oh,
saying,
oh.
it was, I don't know, I was saying something about, like, how my confidence is very, like, in your face, like, and, like, can be, like, off-putting. I don't know, it's some old episode, and I was like, "But your confidence is
Oh,
it's not that
yeah,
it's not
you're
there,
right.
it's just this, like, low hum, quiet, you don't need to say a woman a few words, you don't need
I
to
like
speak up
that.
too
I like
much."
this. I think you're right, and that kinda goes into purpose too, because I think that, like, my visuals are leaning towards that, speaking to that, and that's how I feel on the inside and how I carry myself. But it's also I want someone else to feel that in their home, in their space of these little elements that you bring into your home and that curate are a reflection of your confidence and wanting to bring people in on your artistic side, but it's not so crazy and trendy that you've lost the point or that you've gone too far another way, you know?
Yeah,
So it's
absolutely.
all about, like, how I envision my stuff being layered and also having a timelessness to it. I mean, all these
Mhm.
things I'm trying to achieve, I'm just starting. Sometimes I don't know if it lands that way, but that's, like, where it's coming from in my heart, in my
I
brain.
love that. I love that. A
Okay,
quiet
good.
confidence.
I'm glad we flushed that out. How do you view what do you have a tagline in your head you're working on? I never
Um,
even said what mine was, but I'll have to think about that.
well, yeah, we still got it. You know what I
I know,
mean?
I know, yeah.
So mine that I came up with, like, maybe, like, a month ago, is old world elegance with a modern attitude, and, like,
Oh,
that's kind of, like, something
slay.
I don't know if that's necessarily a catchphrase, but that's just, like, something I keep coming back to with, like, design and because it's, like, I want Nova Linda to be a brand that values tradition,
Mhm.
highlights antiques. Like, I'm very much into I'm not about painting, a red brick house white. I'm like, keep it red and then
That vibe's coming
highlight
back too.
and then I know, which is so exciting.
Like, the wall behind
Um,
me, someone could easily paint that white. Don't paint it white.
That's what I'm saying, like, you
Yeah,
wanna like, it's all about highlighting the character of your home and then essentially highlighting the character of your personality.
I
So,
love
like,
that.
the new things that you bring into your home, because like, Nova Linda is n new and beautiful, but the new things that you bring into your life should always highlight the existing story that's already there. And that's why I
Mm,
believe that your home should be a museum to your life, and the new things that you bring in should be there to highlight the existing story, and it's
mm.
always a good story. So I want to bring that, like, because I have that, like, old world. I mean, the thing is, like, if I were to buy a Nova Linda house, it would be like an old-time castle in Scotland, like, you
For
know,
sure, a ton of crown molding, certain, like, marble
like a
color with more
yeah,
rich color and, like, old credenzas, but, like, then it
but
has this flair of bling, but not so blingy that it's, like, whatever. It's, like, a subtle, like,
yeah, well, like, the modern attitude of it
modern
is, like, the
attitude.
modern day person. Of course, I'm thinking more women, but girls, gays, straights, and whoever wants to come on. But, like, the modern day person coming into this old world and
Yes.
bringing in, like, the
Making it their new.
fresh of life. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And reinventing the most, like, reinventing beautiful architecture. Like, I just miss that.
I mean, I
If
love that because
if
you
I
know what?
become a billionaire, I'm going to, like, build a library in my name, like, with the best
Yes.
architect in the country. You know what I mean? When
I
did rich
love
people stop
that.
doing that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, for
Probably not a
sure.
library, but I don't know, something,
Also, when I
something.
was in New York, I went to a library there. It was so sick. Like an old it was like the JP Morgan library thing from
Oh my
whatever.
god.
You gotta
Like
if you're ever in New York, gotta go see it. Okay, I just wanna say something about your thing,
yeah,
and then I have 2 things. 1, I love this concept because sometimes I have this deep heartbreak that we don't honor the past enough, like architecture and art and all
history.
history.
Yes.
We don't honor it, and we get rid of it,
Mhm.
and we plow it down, and we whatever. The modern world scares me, okay? But I think that if we bring the 2 together, which is honoring the old while still adding where we're at now and not getting stuck in the past, because you don't wanna be the person who's, like, also not embracing what's going on, and I
Of
think you just put
course.
that really perfectly that, like, using the home as an example of that is, like, whatever house you're in, it could be from the '50s or even older. It
Exactly.
could be from the '20s, the '30s, the '50s, the '80s, the '90s, 2010. Embrace that vibe of the house, even if it's not your favorite thing, and then add in the new stuff that doesn't clash with it, and you'll have such a better experience.
Exactly. That's why it's really hard for me. Like people are like, "Oh, what's your dream like house on Pinterest or whatever?" I'm like, I'm a collaborator to my environment.
Yeah, you're
Like
gonna embrace the thing that comes.
exactly. Like,
Yeah,
like the walls in this house that I'm renting, it's kind of like it has like it's neutral, but it's more on the yellowy side. When I first moved in, I was like, I hate this. I'm gonna repaint all the walls. And then I just kind of like started to embrace it. And then I brought
yeah,
in a lot of these like warmer tones. And then,
exactly.
the yellow goes good with a lot of like cool tone grays. And I was bringing that in. And it's like you want to be a collaborator to your environment.
Yep,
And I also believe that like your home, your car, I believe inanimate objects have energy and they are sentient to a certain extent. And I know that I
yeah,
probably just lost a bunch of y'all, but I believe that the way you treat things, how you treat things or people will reflect on how they treat you. And I think honoring a home, especially in the age of like all these new builds, so maybe that doesn't really apply to like everybody, but like honoring a story, honoring a home, and honoring a history is such a beautiful thing, and it's such a gift that you can give to yourself and to the past.
yep.
If you got any ghosts living in your house, you wanna honor them.
Yes, amen. I think there's a ghost in my car right now. I've been calling it the ghost of whatever neighborhood we're in. I'm not gonna say it because I get nervous. Uh, even though we have 4 listeners, but Louis keeps getting scared in my back seat of the car for the first time. He's almost 6 and a half. He's never done this weird thing, and he keeps trying to jump to the front seat. I'm like, "There's a ghost," and I keep just talking to him because 'cause I'm like, "We gotta honor whatever's happening in the back seat here." So,
Exactly.
you don't know you don't know what's out there, but I did just wanna say, if all of a sudden you're annoyed that you don't live in an old house because it sounds exciting or whatever, if you live in a modern house and you vibe with that, you can also bring in cool
Exactly.
artwork and old things to like, oh, you can just do it both ways, and it's so fun to mix it. So I love that mission for you, and I wanted to ask you, how do you I know you're just getting started on your branding and it could evolve, but how did you come up with, like, your more signature logo, and how does that relate to everything you just said? And, like, even the colors, like, tell us a little bit about that because now that you kinda
Okay,
described.
fair. So, the particular time period that I always come back on is like Victorian era,
Yes.
medieval era.
Love,
Like
love.
that's where I always come back to. And I know that I derive a lot of that from like all the fantasy books that I read. I just
And maybe,
love
like, in your past life, you were, like, a queen of that era, so it was,
I
like, a
was
strong life that you
no,
had during that time.
I was definitely, like, in the Victorian era, like, the ladies, you know what I mean? That had, like, all the women, like,
100%.
taking care of like, I was like this I know I was this, like, really wealthy lady who, like, wore the corset dresses and, like,
Mhm,
loved it. Like, I was not,
mhm.
like, the tomboy, like, sneaking off to go, like, play in the mud. No,
No,
I was front and center. I was
you
running
were
that
the
shit.
lady of the house.
Yeah, and that's why I believe that, like, because I know I had this, like, very, like, rich energy about me that of, like, this, like, just my taste and everything, and I'm like, I know I
Yeah.
was that in a previous life, and then I came to this life, and now I have to learn how to work for it. And
Yeah,
you know
your
what? That's
soul's trying to
okay.
figure it out
Yeah,
on a different level,
a
and
different
that's the
plane.
thing, since you already know that type of wealth, you will then know it
Oh,
again.
it's yeah, and I'm like, "I get it. I gotta come down here. I was probably too spoiled. I don't it's
Mhm,
fine. I
mhm.
understand.
Yep.
I understand.
You
There's
probably did
levels to
something
this shit."
naughty, yeah.
I did 100%. But
Okay,
I
sorry, keep
digress.
going.
So I derive a lot of my inspiration from like Victorian era, medieval era, and when I was thinking about like, and I'm romanticizing this shit. I am very much aware that being a woman in that time period would probably not be ideal. Like,
Yeah,
I'm very much romanticizing this.
just for
I'm
fun.
aware that this is fun. This is imagination. This is fun. So I'm aware of that. But when I think back to this time period, I think of like the romance, the layers, the ruffles, like, the like bodices in the house and the
Also,
molding and
the effort that all of that was, like,
yes,
think
like that.
about, like, today, me rolling out of bed, I stayed in my PJs for half the day, then I put on this button down, I try to be kinda put together, I didn't really do
Girl,
my
I'm in
hair.
a button down
That
too, but no, I feel
but that
you.
would never effing fly, like, that was not a thing, and there's almost this I'm almost jealous, like, I'm not, 'cause I know we're talking about a time where, like, they didn't have rights, but, like, let's just keep
Correct.
it in the fantasy world and, like, just play with this. There is this, like, amazing thing about like, I'm trying to pull it back into my life, like, there was a time in my life where I did care more about fashion and, like, how I presented myself, and some of it can be, um, surface level and not what I'm here for, but some of it is an expression and also an elevation of, like, your spirit, and I think that's really, like, something we've lost of, like,
Yeah.
not feeling bad to put that effort in, and I think that's a really cool, like, way to look at it. Like, you're right, like, the tailored, like, bodices and the hair and the makeup and the jewels and, like,
Oh,
all
I'm
this is
like,
just,
I
like, a
couldn't.
fun place to play in.
I'm like, you can't breathe in the dress. I'm in.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like,
I'm
and that's how I am to
ex
this day. I'm like,
exactly right.
my feet are gonna be bleeding by the end of the night. Do I look good? All right, next question. Like,
I
I'm
love
really
that.
cool with it. I will aid a
Yeah.
blister. Like, so be it.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's how I know that like I've tortured myself. I've been tortured in the past life with this stuff to the point
Yes.
where I now seek it out voluntarily. So,
Yes.
but when it comes to like the logo and everything, like there is like a signature, like it's flowy. Because I think of like how they used to write letters back in the day. And you know what? I tried to look at those, examples of those letters. I couldn't read that cursive. So I was like, I know the logo and stuff couldn't be towards that direction. But when I do think back on this era and like from like my research and also like, bringing like a medieval time vibe in here, castles and gardens and vines growing up the walls and, there's no AC. It's just like all these big drapes and curtains. It's dramatic. It's sexy. It's so romantic. And I wanted to bring that aspect into it. And like my colors are like maroon and tan. There's like a lighter green color in there. I have a bunch of different colors, but what you mostly see is the maroon and tan. Because I
Love.
think of when I was like creating the logo, I was like literally picturing a in this scenario, I was picturing like a medieval woman, like writing a letter. It's like, the sun's about to go down. There's candles all over the room. And it's the most like beautiful romantic vibe, but that's just an evening for her because there's, well,
Yes.
no electricity. There's no TV.
Yes.
She's writing a gorgeous letter. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I just
You
picture
think
her like signing at the end, Novalinda. And I'm like, and then that's kind of how that came to be. And that's
wow.
where, a lot of my like marketing and that kind of stuff in the future, like I wanted to center around like letters and like wax
Yes.
seals and
Yeah, okay,
things like that.
let's add that in. So now that we've kind of worked out, like, the vision we have for the world we're creating these worlds, and we're trying to, like, have
Wait,
the viewer
yes, before you, because I was going to say this earlier, but you just said half of it. So we have branding and we have marketing. Marketing is essentially you leaving your world and going to go gather people to then get interested in your world. So you're like
yeah,
leaving the world, you go get the people, you're going on a
bring
fishing
them in.
expedition, you're fishing. It's, kind of a luck of the draw situation. That's where you're like buying Instagram promotions and you are doing the reaching out to the people. Why branding is so powerful is branding is creating a world, an environment, an energy, a feeling that people then come to seek you out.
Yeah,
Where it's like,
yeah.
and that
They can't they stop and they see it and they have to, like, peek in the door.
exactly.
Yeah, there you
Exactly.
go.
And then the
Good
strongest,
distinction.
right? Because because I am not, I've never been a salesperson, never had a sales job. I've done sales things with my job, but just being a salesperson, never done that. I don't think you have either. I don't really vibe with that. You won't catch me on a cold call. Maybe for my
We
own
have to bring
line.
them to us. I also think that everyone has a different thing, like, it's really interesting to watch my mom build this textile world because she basically gathered a bunch of artists that their job was the branding, and then
Mhm.
her house as the company needed to stay kinda neutral, so she's the representative of all these brands. She can't I mean, Bradley should have some branding, but, like, she wants to promote all these individual brands so that they each speak to who she's trying to get at. So she has to be strong in marketing.
Yeah.
Then we want to become one of these brands. We kind of to go, we have to do our own research on how to become strong branders. So it's almost like that's why this episode I think was challenging for us. And we're trying to work our way through it because it's not, even though we're saying we're not salespeople, like that's also what we're trained in is marketing and sales.
Right.
So
It's
it's like
yeah.
naturally we wanna go more towards the branding, but I think it is a skill and it comes with aging and, like, knowing who you are and, like, again, staying in your world so people come to you. It's a hard thing to do, but I think that once it happens and it clicks. I also just had such a vision of, like, how different our brands are that, like, it's so fun to think of, like, me going into meetings in California or like kinda like West Coasty earthy vibes and like what I'm trying to say, like land, and then you being on the East Coast and kinda some of these more like traditional like New York design firms and like people that do these homes with crown molding and like how your brand would land. And of
Yeah.
course there can be crossover in both, but like I just saw it. I just saw I and we've already experienced some of it, but like I just saw how when you create that world and when you put it in front of the right people, it, like, literally, it just has a voice.
Yeah, and that's where it's like the like because like that's like the brand story, but like the customer, like I think of a customer for Nova Linda that's someone who like values tradition, like has antiques in their family that they want to highlight, like someone who is kind of like into this also kind of, fantasy magical world that I'm in. Like, but then at the
Yeah.
same time, like it is someone with a modern attitude who one has like go-getter for sure, like has the means to purchase these things and has a means to like bring their vision to life. Um, but it's definitely someone who wants to avoid everything looking the same,
Yep.
you know?
I love it. Well, I just heard a car pull up, so ignore if my dog starts barking at a see his
I just
ears?
see the yeah, I see the ears.
Well, what should we Oh!
He's a
Should we
singer.
do our, speed round thing? Or
Yes,
what else?
yes.
I know we didn't, like, wrap that up that cleanly, but I feel like we could just keep going. So I'm, like,
No,
45 minutes in.
absolutely. And I think that was we'll do multiple branding workshops because I
Yeah.
also want to like, I don't know, because it's like because the thing is like, okay, I got that story together, but now it's my job to create visuals and actual things to tell that story to then bring people in. So I think that's the next phase of it. I need to do
Exactly,
a photo shoot so
but
bad.
that I know, so do I. But and yeah, there's so much more I could say, but I'm so glad we had this workshop. Thanks for joining us. I hope it, like, could help someone just get started on, where their brain's at or refine, like, a new idea or concept or something, but that was very helpful. And I
I
just feel
know.
like I learned more about, like, where you're going and how you perceive your vision, which I'm here because 'cause we're basically, supporting each other in a really, like, actual tangible way. So now I'm more clued in.
No, I'm more clued in with you too. Quiet confidence. And I have so
Quite
many ideas for
Yeah,
you.
okay. Okay, so the question that we are bringing today is or it's not really a question, we just wanted to put out some, like, established brands that we admire and that people could go look up and kinda see a better example because 'cause we're just starting. I mean, you can see our stuff, but, like, a really established brands that we admire and that might be a little inspiration for us. Okay,
Yes.
you go first. One in the industry and one outside.
Okay, so my one in the industry is Zach and Fox. They have or he and the fox is like his dog. So his brand is also dog inspired. Both of our
Oh,
brands
I
are,
actually
yeah.
didn't know
Oh
that.
my God, it's the cutest
I
little,
think
he's like
I knew that, but I hadn't heard that in a long time.
cutest little lad. No, but so it's a wallpaper and textile brand. They might have more product than that, but specifically when I was developing Nova and I was looking at, other brands out there and just trying to like kind of find inspiration, I really resonated with him. A lot of his stuff is like nature driven with the patterns and the colors and everything.
Yeah,
It's very masculine, but there's like feminine touches to it.
yeah.
Just and then overall, like his Instagram, his photography,
Their
really
website's amazing.
exactly, just like
Storytelling.
yes, and it has that like kind of whimsical feel to it.
Mhm.
That I feel that like that fantasy world kind of
Yes.
I don't know.
Kind of like a modern logo too, but then with, like, old world.
Yeah,
going
we
on.
resonate. They were
Look it up,
humans.
guys. Look it up. It's
They
a good one.
No, like, Nova would go on a date with Zach and Fox, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, they would
Yes.
vibe. So, I'm just a huge fan. I love everything that he's doing and, dog inspired, just 10 out of 10. Okay, wait, now you go. You go on.
Okay. My industry one would be Emma Hayes Textiles, which is our one of our main squeezes at Bradley, and I had to give her a shout out because she's been a mentor to Nina and I watching her build her brand and like also something you guys will just have to look up to get what we're saying. But her patterns have this very like light and airy, hand painted, ethereal energy to them. And then all her branding and how she like presents her artistry and inspiration just ties in so well with the work and the artwork that it's just
It's
seamless.
Yeah, it's so clean.
It all speaks for itself. I don't know.
It's oh,
She's a star.
yeah.
So, yeah, that's my in network in industry one. And then what's your out of industry one?
So, this is just there's been a lot of discourse about this specific
Oh,
brand
yeah.
recently. So I wouldn't say it's like my favorite branding, but I have to talk about it because it's a lesson for us all.
Good
Good
story.
old good old Cracker Barrel. As someone who went to Georgia Southern, Cracker Barrel is what we frequented on a Sunday morning after a night
I
out.
love that. I love that.
So if you don't know, Cracker Barrel has this very old-timey looking logo with this like old man sitting on a barrel in the logo. It's very telling to their brand. If you've ever been inside a Cracker Barrel, it's like an old-time southern store with all these little trinkets and things filled with stuff on the walls. Like it looks like you just like walked into a mom pop store in the
Country store.
deepest country store in the deepest South. And like that's what it was meant to be because back in the day, a country store had food and it was a restaurant, but it also had, the things that you needed on the day to day.
Like a
So
mixture of a grocery store and a gas station store.
exactly. Now Cracker Barrel is more of like, trinkets and things like that. But back
Yeah.
in the day, that's how
Merch.
yeah, merch. But back in the day it was meant to be like that. So and it was like the only store in the whole town. So um, where Cracker Barrel is the most popular is like southern locations for sure. And they tried to rebrand their logo, making it like they took the old man in the barrel out. They did just like, they even like changed the font, which like, oh my God. And then it was like it went from like cute personality driven, story driven, just from the logo to this like very boring corporate look. Now, Cracker Barrel is a corporate company. So like, right? But that's not the story that they
Yeah.
were telling.
Yeah.
I think within like 48 hours, they had the logo changed back about the outrage online. People were completely outraged because, I mean, they
They want the
changed it.
comfort of what it means to them.
Correct. And
I
it's
mean,
like,
this also sounds like a complex thing of I didn't follow it or whatever, but I'm sure there's like a lot of moving parts to it. But yeah, people want the original feeling that that gives them.
exactly. And it's like the place that you would go with your grandparents on a Sunday morning after church type thing. So like, but no, they changed the logo. There was outrage. They changed it back. They apologized to everyone. But that is just like a lesson how powerful that could be. The only thing that changed was the logo, right? The stores,
Yeah.
everything else is still the same. But that is an example of how powerful it could be and how much you really do need to pay attention to who your market is and kind of the story that you're trying to tell. Like your visuals really can be that important.
And well,
So,
that's also like a story about like longevity and like history and
yeah.
so many things. You know that also kind of been doing that is the HBO Max thing. Cuz think about like people want every HBO show starts with a little like and then the
Yeah.
HBO and then they try to change it to Max and everyone's like what the hell is Max? And then they
Right.
change it back. I don't know. It's just stupid.
No,
I
it's
don't know.
stupid, but, like, once you know your brand and, like, the thing that you're doing is part of someone's routine, like, why
Yeah, why
it's
change it?
it's very hard for people to change it.
Well, that's also
So,
like that also shows that sometimes some of these things could be deeper than what we know, acquisitions and things that change at the top, and then people
yeah.
try to change things because of that, and then it doesn't work because the audience is like, "I don't care who owns HBO Max. I want it to be HBO."
Yeah, and that goes
So,
back to, like, what we were talking about in the beginning, that your customer is your hero, and you need to know who the hero is in the story.
yep,
And you have to have an understanding of, like, who these people are,
yep.
and what they mean to you. I mean, it's everything.
I love that. That's a good one. Okay, my second out of industry is, the clothing fashion brand Jacquemus. I don't know if
Oh.
that's how you pronounce it, but you recognize the logo. I actually got that was on my inspiration boards with my brander for some of the how we got to where we got with
Mhm.
the, like, storyboard I went with. I love, like, how their bold font is, like, so steady and is on everything. I love, like, how they saturate certain colors. I love what they do on runways with, like, sets. They do, like, a lot of color blocking, monochromatic.
They have good silhouettes too.
Yep. Silhouettes, shapes, structure. There's a ton of structure to their bags and everything. I'm always really attracted to that versus slouch. Well, actually, I dress pretty slouchy sometimes, but I like it
But
to the
but
eye. I like this.
a structured bag would balance out a slouchy look.
Yeah, okay, that's what it is.
You know what I mean?
I also think that sometimes, like, I don't even really own any of that. I just like every time it pops up for me or if I see it in a magazine or in content, I'm attracted to it. So I'm attracted to whatever they're doing, even though I haven't gotten to the level where, like, I can go shop there all the time. So it's aspirational for me. I just love the way they've done it across the board.
Mhm. Were they the
So
ones that had those, like, really tiny
oh, and you
bags?
know what? I wasn't even gonna say that. That just popped in my head, so I was meant to say it. But my other one that I'll have to mention is an I always forget if it's a Nina Bing?
Oh, yeah.
A Nina Bing. Wait, a Nina? I don't know how to say her name. But she also has great branding, another good one to look up because she really puts herself into it. So that's a good lesson for me and you
Mhm.
about how she's doing that and pulling in the story of her life and things that she's been through and her relationships and how she has a lot of good like quotes. And more recently I've seen her literally bring that into collection names, and that's stuff that we like to do. We like to call things
Yeah.
by Sam's Plaid and
Yeah.
Kelly's Coop. These are like people in our lives that we like to like bring in, and she's doing that with fashion. And I feel like you don't see that as much because there's like this kind of like, I don't know, fashion's like not as personal sometimes to the creator.
Mhm.
And so I really respect that she's been doing that, and it really reminds me kind of like of some other people in our industry, but in the fashion world. So I just wanted to bring those both up. Honestly, they're both good.
Yeah, I saw her, I have to watch it, but I saw clips of her on a podcast recently.
Yeah,
We need to watch. I
yeah.
don't know whose podcast, but
We need to listen to that because she started her brand like at in her 20s in her garage in like Topanga Canyon or Laurel Canyon out here. Very kind of similar vibes to what.
oh, and putting her out there, she is on our dream list of guests to have on
Yeah,
here.
I do want to have her on because we have
So,
like, well,
we'll
yeah,
learn how to
just
say your name.
if you wanna go stalk her, there's some things that, like, she's pursued that I'm really interested in, like, the therapeutic world and stuff. So, anyway, she's, like, a multifaceted inspo for me, um, and I would love to interview her, putting it out there.
Love it.
Love it.
Well, do you wanna close us on the quote, and then I'll do, like, this like and subscribe thing?
Yes! Okay. Quote of the day, sent it to my guy, Konski, who's in the room. Robert Redford, legend in the acting world, passed away today, and so my favorite account, Niche, on Instagram, if you're not following it, you should go follow it. It's, like, artist quotes and stuff. Okay, it says, I'm interested in that thing that happens where there's a breaking point for some people and not for others. You go through such hardship, things that are almost impossibly difficult, and there's no sign that it's going to get any better. That's the point when people quit, but some don't. Slay. Mic drop.
Mic drop, slay. I love it. Stay in your authenticity and follow your plan, not your mood. Um,
Oh, I like
okay.
that.
Yeah. Oh,
Because
yeah.
me and you can get in some moods.
Yeah, yeah. I got some moods.
But
But
sometimes
yeah.
that's also meant to be like we were going to pod on Sunday, and now I'm really glad we waited till today.
Right. But if there was no chance of us potting this week, then we would have still done it Sunday.
True, 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 true.
So it's a balance. Okay.
Okay.
So, well, this was wonderful. And I want to do more workshops with you. I feel like I learned a lot.
Me too. That was like therapy.
Yeah. Well, it always is. And
Business therapy and
yep.
horse therapy.
Oh, God. Yes. I have to call them
I'll be
tomorrow.
following up with you on the stables.
Oh, thank God. I'll send you a video. Okay. Well, thank you so much for listening, you guys. We really enjoy you. We value you. And if you like what you heard, please send it to a friend. If you don't like what you heard, then that's fine
DM
too.
us.
DM us. Tell us all
Or
about it.
don't. Or yeah.
Or fuck
Okay.
off or don't. I don't really care.
Okay. We'll see you next time.
Like, subscribe, do the thing. You know what to do. Okay. Love you guys.
All
Love
right.
you, C.
Love you. Love you, Neen.
Peace.